Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. From the title of this video, obviously we were talking about audiobooks again, and I'm not gonna lie, this is probably one of my favorite little playlist series that I've been doing. If you watched my first video about audiobooks, I hope you guys enjoyed that one, and I hope that you guys also enjoyed this one and more that will be coming. And I don't really know, y'all tell me, should I call it audiobook review or I guess so. I was in a book club with two friends of mine, and they both told me that I am a reader, I am a book girly. I love to read poetry, but my true love are audiobooks. I don't know, when I can hear it, either if they have sound effects or I just hear the characters, it just helps me imagine it a lot better. And I'm not gonna lie, I kind of lose track when I'm reading books. I have to reread that same paragraph over and over again for it to really stick sometimes if my mind is wandering. And another thing that's kind of funny, y'all are going to see a lot of repetitive genres in these audiobook reviews, and I want to branch out. I want to listen to some horror audiobooks, some suspenseful, I listen to suspenseful, dramatic, dark romance stuff, but I want to get into some other things. So if y'all have any suggestions, please let me know down in the comments. I feel like it's time for us to jump into these books and how I felt about them. So the first book, and also, if you catch me looking to the side, y'all know this already. I have my notes to the side so I know where I am and what I want to talk about so I don't forget key points and everything. I apologize if it's a little annoying, but it's fine. So the first book that I will be talking about is called Butcher and Blackbird by Bryn Weaver. My apologies. This book is basically a slow burning dark romance between two serial killers, but let me tread lightly with the word serial killers because they're like a not so great good guy, if that makes any sense. Basically, these two characters, they will go and find the bad guys that are doing really, really, really horrible things, and they will basically off them. So what would you call that? A vigilante, maybe? That, if that's even the right word. Hopefully I said the right word. And the two characters' names are Rowan and Sloan. I think Rowan calls himself the Butcher and Sloan is the Blackbird in the story. Blackbird's actually a nickname that Rowan gave to Sloan, but I think Sloan goes by the Orb Weaver. Orb Wielder, Orb Weaver, Orb Welder. Anyway, she has a really big knack for plucking people's eyeballs out. Sorry, trigger warning. They talk about eyeballs and stuff. It gets pretty gross in these books. Not to the point where I want to throw up, but it gets pretty detailed and gross. So that's my only trigger warning that I would give people. Is yeah, they talk about eyeballs and maggots and ice cream. If you know, you know. If you want to know, read or listen to the book. But yeah. I love this story. I really do. Probably one of the best character development stories for me, in my opinion. And I feel like I say that a lot, but I'm honest. I will let you guys know if it's a meh or if it's amazing god tier. I will let you guys know. But I love this story because you grow to love the characters, and you love when they start opening up and stuff, but you're so scared to lose them at the same time. You really are in for a ride. It's a whole roller coaster of emotions and a roller coaster of just I'm telling you, I had to pause it a couple times because I was oh my god, please. And I only pause it for 30 seconds to get my thoughts together, and then we continued on with the story. Rowan is a successful cook. He owns his own restaurant, and Sloan, I can't remember if Sloan has an actual job, but what I do know is that she murders bad guys for a living. The very first time Sloan and Rowan met each other, they were actually on their way to go find a mutual known serial killer, bad guy, and Sloan ended up getting in a little bit of trouble. Rowan thought she was beautiful, and he was really intrigued by her and her sassiness and stuff, and then they went out to get lunch after they cleaned up from said murder, and it kind of just grew from there. Rowan and Sloan actually made it a kind of yearly game. They would pick a bad guy that they both would then try to off first. Even though Rowan is super busy because of his life and everything that he has going on, he still finds time every year to go on this hunt with Sloane. And I don't know, it's because he really loves her. He really cares. So I think that, you know, how romantic, you know? And if this yearly game isn't enough reason to why or how much Rowan loves Sloane, he literally flew to her. They live states away. I can't remember, so sorry, but they live states away. And he actually flew to her house. He made like a goodie basket, gift basket of different like ingredients to make a recipe. And he paid this little kid to go up to Sloane's door. It's so cute. To go up to Sloane's door to give her the gift basket. And then she would call him and he would literally, quite literally, be standing outside across the street behind some bushes, calling her and like directing her through how to like cook. Because I don't think Sloane is too good of a cook, but Rowan owns a restaurant. The only time I got irritated was when Rowan was literally right outside the door. Like, it's super cute, but it's like, dang, Rowan, come on, like go up to the door. Obviously she wants you there. Go up to the door, make this meal together. But they're both scared to admit feelings, even though they really are starting to like each other and love each other, and they're just scared to admit feelings because they don't want to ruin a good thing. They don't want to jeopardize this friendship in this yearly game that they love to do together. We ended up like it was a slow burn, but it was just enough. It was just right. Like, we got enough banter, we got enough like yearning. It was fine. So there were times in this book where I had to actually like hold my breath until I knew if one character was okay or not. I'm not gonna give spoilers on that situation, but again, if you know, you know, and if you don't know, you need to listen or read it so you do know and you can understand why I had to hold my breath. And there were moments where I actually teared up in this book as well. I don't know, it's just something about when people just, you know, when they finally just say how they feel, or if there's a point where the character thinks that they're losing the other person and they're basically breaking down. I love when characters get vulnerable. I do. I love it when it's for the greater good of everybody and anyone. I just love that part. You know, what's a book without a little bit of, you know, some heart palpitations? I've been stuck on the term yearning all year. I think, honestly, no, it's probably ever since like Bridgerton came out. Whenever Rowan would express how he feels about Sloane, I literally feel like I can hear and feel and listen to the emotion. Felt like I could really picture it and see the emotion too, you know? So let me tell you, my maid of honor better have a beauty blender and some powder on standby whenever me and my person are listening to like each other's vows, because I'm gonna be blubbering. I am such an emotional little crybaby sometimes. Whenever it's about love or just something dramatic happens, something sad, I'm always crying. It could be a Disney movie, but Disney movies be the saddest movies, okay? The most heart-wrenching movies. All right, spice level, very nice, very good. I don't even know if I could say like spicy, because spicy is honestly like an understatement. So the dining table scene, the dining table moment, it was nice. You know, she deserved it. Okay, they both deserve it. So yeah. Overall, I would give this book a 10 out of 10. It is the first book in the series of books. The second one, which I will be talking about, that is about Lachlan, the oldest child. So we are just gonna go ahead and get into Leather and Lark. All right, hear me out. The first book, the voice actors, 10 out of 10, top tier, loved it. The second book, in my opinion, the voice acting wasn't really my cup of tea. It wasn't my favorite. I feel like it's a lot more, these voice actors were a lot more theatrical, which just isn't my taste, I guess. I kind of like a more sultry, realistic sounding people. You can look up different types of voice acting, like theatrical, animated, realistic, sultry, sexy, sultry and stuff. Theatrical reminds me of like a old school Disney princess, like Snow White. To give a little bit of a backstory, you have three brothers. You have Rowan, Lachlan, and Fionn. Fionn is the youngest, Lachlan is the oldest, Rowan is the middle. I don't know why I said it in that way, but yeah. And Lark is Sloane's best friend. Sloane is with Rowan, the middle brother of Lachlan. So Lark is Sloane's best friend. and Lark is also a serial killer, but Sloane doesn't know. Nobody knows. Lark kind of like, she calls herself a multiple deleter. And Lachlan, the oldest brother, he is basically the dog. There is a guy, like a mob boss, who took in the brothers when they were younger because they were orphaned. The stuff that I'm saying, there's more details to it that y'all can find out, but I'm just giving a little snips here and there. Basically, Lachlan does all the dirty work for said mob boss because the mob boss kind of saved them in a sense. I don't know, took care of them in order for his brothers to kind of do whatever they please. Basically, he's just sold his life away to ensure that his brothers are taken care of. So Lark is in a really rich family. I believe someone in the family like is a pastry person. I think it's the aunt or the grandma or the great aunt or something of Lark that had really good bakery business, and so it kind of trickled down. The bakery business kind of turned into like a dark business. The great aunt or whatever, she's ill, and she, like, you know, tends to poison people if they do her dirty. So it kind of gets a little crazy in the bakery business, okay? How Lark and Lachlan met, Lark actually murdered somebody and needed help with cleaning it up. So her dad called the mob boss, and the mob boss sent off Lachlan to go clean up her mess. And basically in the beginning, Lachlan and Lark did not like each other. I think it took more than half of the book. I want to say, like, to me, 70%, 75% of the book for them to finally start liking each other, or for Lark to open up, or not even open up. Sloane ended up opening up to Lachlan about, like, Lark, not because Lark wanted him to find out or she opened up to him, but I think if I remember correctly, he found out a different way. I'm not gonna lie, Lark, she was coming off kind of like a goody two-shoes, kind of snobby, kind of bitchy, and Lachlan was like, you know what, you are a goody two-shoes. You can get away with whatever you do, and then other people always have to clean up after you. So I kind of understand why Lachlan would put her in the trunk. Okay, no one needs to be thrown in a trunk or anything, but if you have someone that's kind of doing too much and being rude and not appreciative of you cleaning up stuff, and she's just being all know-it-all and stuff, all right, I get why you would throw her in the trunk. Did Lachlan know that Lark has a, like, claustrophobic, scared of the dark situation going because of some traumatic stuff she went through in the past? No, he didn't know that. But does that give Lark the right? I mean, yes, but for the sake of the book and the story, did Lark have to take over 75 to 80% of the book to finally start opening up to him and being okay with, like, their situation? To me, no. Now, Butcher and Blackbird had a very good, tasteful, non-annoying slow burn, but this one, it was just slow. Leather and Lark was just slow, and then the burning was just like a quick, like, ow, grab the pot and we're fine. You know, I don't know, like, I don't know, it's kind of disappointing a little bit, but I digress. And all I'm saying is, if it was me in Lachlan's position and I was dealing with Lark for so long, obviously there's more details and stuff, but hey, I would have given up a long time ago with how hard-headed and stubborn Lark was being to Lachlan. Bruh, like, I would have given up. I don't care how good they look. I would have given up. But maybe that's why people love Lachlan so much, because he's very adamant on things, maybe. You know, when he cares, he's very adamant. So, hey, they worked out in the end, but it wouldn't have worked for me. So, I don't know. The story could have been okay. It could have been better, though. It's just hard because Butcher and Blackbird was just so good. And then you get to Leather and Lark and you're like, oh, okay. All right. It took me a long time to finish listening to that book, too. I don't know, the character development, the spicy scenes, the drama from the first book, the suspense from the first book, it just really, like, it's captivating. It really hooks you in and you fall in love with it. But then with this one, you're kind of just like, okay, well, That was nice, I guess. If I paused the first book, it was because my heart needed a second. But if I paused the second book, it was probably because I was bored. A lot of the books that I have read have had an extra chapter at the end to kind of like give you a little bit of an idea of like what's the couple doing now, or what's happening, what happened to the characters, you know, like it's been about 5-10 years later, what's happening with the characters. They gave you like a little, you know, a time jump and stuff to let you know how things are going or how it really ended for real. But the extra scene at the end of this book, the last chapter, it bumped up my rating, so that's a good thing. My overall rating for the book would probably be a 5 out of 10. But then that spicy scene at the very end, it bumped it up a whole point. So the ending, that little ending little sprinkle was pretty cool. I like, you know, I love some Switch energy, so it wasn't bad. I think it's called Sith and Sparrow, or Scythe and Sparrow, Sparrow and Scythe, Scythe, one of those. But it's interesting to see on it's the most recent one to come out, obviously. And when I looked up the reviews on Google and like book review websites, the third book has better reviews than the second book does. All the reviews are pretty mixed. Well, the reviews for the first book are top tier, like everyone loved it, but for the second and third one, they were kind of mixed, but a little bit better reviews on the third one, so we'll see. I will eventually listen to it, so part 3 or part 4 of audiobook reviews, I might, you know, finally have listened to it. All right, so for the third book, shout out to my roomie Jamise, because she really, really loved this book, and she really, really wanted me to listen to it. It took me a little bit to finally get into it, because it's not normally a book that I would listen to. I wanted to give it a try because she's listened to a lot of books I've recommended, so it was about time I needed to listen to something she recommended. So this one is called Mistakes Were Made, and it's by Muriel Wilsner. It's by Muriel. It's called Mistakes Were Made, okay? So this book is about a college student named Cassie. Cassie is best friends with this girl named Parker. Parker has a mom named Erin who is divorced and single. Cassie is in her early 20s, college student, not close with her family. At the college that Cassie and Parker go to, they had a like family weekend, like your family comes through for the weekend. But since Cassie is not close with her family members, she went out to a bar by herself to go have a drink and everything, because she was, you know, in her fifis, which is fair. Cassie met a woman at a bar. They locked eyes, sent drinks to each other, flirted around, talked a little bit, and then ended up going and getting jiggy in said woman's car. And this woman just so happened to be Parker's mom, Cassie's best friend's mom. In the book, literally the next day, Parker asked Cassie to go to breakfast with her and her mom, because Parker and her mom are a little iffy because of the divorce. So Parker wanted Cassie to be there to kind of be a middleman to help her get through the breakfast. And of course, when they all were there, Cassie and Parker went to the breakfast spot. Parker's mom was already there. They didn't know each other. It was a one night stand type of thing. And then come to find out, that's when they find out, oh my gosh, you are my daughter's best friend. Oh my gosh, you're my best friend's mom. But this is the thing, okay? Throughout the entire book, Cassie and Erin is Parker's mom, they're literally hiding this situation from Parker the entire book. Like, to the point, literally, Parker felt bad for Cassie being alone during the holidays, so Parker invited Cassie over for like Thanksgiving, Christmas, whatever. Cassie and Erin, Parker's mom, would literally be getting jiggy with it any moment that they could, whenever Parker either wasn't at the house, or when Parker was asleep, or maybe when Parker was a little drunk or something. Parker could be in the kitchen eating breakfast, and Cassie and Erin would be in like the food pantry, and they would like cop a feel of each other. All I'm saying, the story was good, okay, but I guess for me and my personal taste, I was getting so irritated because I could never the audacity, if I were trying to sneak around and hook up with my best friends, like one of their parents, that's insane. Or flip the script, if I found out my best friend is trying to get jiggy with like my mom, even just thought, I'm trying to like take it away and not think of like obviously my mom or my friends' mothers. I'm trying to take it away and not think about that. But it's literally just, even if I did, it's just I could not. And it's the way that when Parker finally found out, and I was on the edge of my seat, so obviously it was a good book because I was on the edge of my seat when it came down to Parker finding out the truth. And it pissed me off even more because I felt like Parker should have been more mad. She should have been way angrier, bruh. She knew and still didn't say anything because she was waiting for them to come out and tell the truth. Of course, I get it. Like, you're just like, oh, well, let's see how far they get. If as soon as I found out, ooh, I wouldn't go ghost. I literally would. I don't know. Whatever. My best friend loved it. Okay, she loved it. She loved the story, she loved the fantasy of it and everything. She did. So, you know, I can't hate on the book. It did to me exactly what I would assume the author would want, is to like have people on the edge of their seat, have people be irritated with the situation and stuff. I guess it was just, you know, the book did its job. When I ran out of listening hours for the month, I was right at the point where Parker had found out that they were getting together, and when I tell you, I was just so eager for the next month to roll around so I could really listen to the rest because I was really into it. It just irritated me. So overall, I think I would give that book, I would give it an 8 out of 10. I guess it's just the circumstances that because it irritated me, or I was just mad at it. I want to give it like a 7 out of 10 because even at the ending, yeah, the ending was cute and all, but I still was just like, bro, this is so weird. This is so weird. I don't want to give any spoilers, but okay, spoiler alert. Okay, skip like 5 seconds. But I am not calling my best friend my mom or my stepmom. Okay, we're literally the same age. You might be a year older than me, but you getting with like my mom, that's like a 20-year age gap. No, because yeah, like it has to be like 15, 20 years. I don't know. I think Cassie was like 21 and her mom was like late 30s or something, about to hit 40. And then when they finally like got together and got married and stuff, it was only Cassie had to be like late 20s and then her mom had to be late 40s by then. But it's just like, I'm just not doing it, and I'm not calling my best friend my stepmom. I'm sorry. Like, holidays are gonna be real awkward. Birthdays and holidays are gonna be real awkward after that. I will leave that up to you guys to let me know. A good story, and everything, but I guess just my personal opinion, I guess I would give it a 7 out of 10, but really the book was probably like an 8 out of 10. I'm just being stubborn. But yeah, my friend Jamise, even though the book was not my personal favorite, I'm still gonna listen to books that you recommend me, girl. Trust and believe. We don't all have to have the same taste, you know? That's why it's my opinion. Next book, next one. Super excited about this one. Super excited to talk about this one, okay? It is called Lights Out by Navessa Allen. Navessa? Or did I do a typo and it's Vanessa? I think it's Navessa. If y'all listen to the first audiobook review video, then y'all know that if I really, really, really love the book, I will buy the physical copy. So I got the physical copy of Lights Out. That's how much I really like this book. Round of applause. Round of applause for this book because I love it. The characters are legit top tier. It's a dark romance, very good banter between the characters. Josh, the guy, the main character, he is so sassy and so funny. I love him so much. I fell in love with him literally after like the first chapter he was talking in. Like I could not. You can't help but to fall in love with him. A friend of mine who is a guy who listened to the book too, I recommended it. Grown man said that he also loved Josh. Okay, so that should tell you something too. Okay, Josh is basically a super smart, computer savvy, nerdy tech whiz who also has a masked man, kinky thirst trap social media page that he posts content on. Don't know his real identity. Loads and loads and loads of followers. And then his love interest, Allie, follows him on his social media page. She does not know who he really is. All she knows is that she sees this really hot masked guy and she lives for his content, and probably every single video or picture she has commented on or liked from probably the beginning of time. And Josh basically stalks Allie, but for good reasons. of course. I don't know if this is a spoiler, but basically Allie used to have a friends with benefits with this guy who actually is roommates with Josh. There was like one time that they accidentally like bumped into each other, Josh and Allie. Allie was going to look for a cup of coffee. It was morning time. Josh was already making coffee, blah, 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 blah. And that's kind of when Josh started to stalk Allie. Roommate and Allie are done. They don't mess with each other like that anymore. Allie's a nurse and she doesn't really have time for relationships and stuff because she's at work like literally like 24/7. So that doesn't develop in anything. Ever since Josh started like stalking her, he found out that she follows his page. From then, this story blossoms, okay? And one thing I love is that we got to the fantasies and the spicy scenes very quickly. We got to the nitty gritty of everything very quickly. There's so much detail in this book and so much like a lot of backstory for both characters and backstory for other characters. I love this story. I really, really do. Highly, highly recommend this one. So like I said, Josh stalks Allie. He finds out that she likes his online persona and she has these fantasies and he has these same fantasies. Now, hear me out. Like I said, Josh stalks her for the right reasons. When I say the right reasons, I mean like he might have hacked into her job at the hospital to check in on her and see how she's doing. And he sees that she barely ate that day, barely had any water, and worked like I think a 14, maybe 24-hour shift. I don't know. It was really a long time that she was there. He could see that she was really burnt out. So he might have pulled up to her job, broke into her car, waited in her car till she got off so he could drive her home because I think it was snowing too. And he wanted to make sure she got home safe. And he also had snacks and stuff waiting for her as well. And like I said, the right reasons. He knew that she wasn't going to trust him, so he even gave her like a knife to make sure she felt protected and everything. All I'm saying, like, he's thoughtful, okay? He's really thoughtful and he understands. If you were to have a stalker, you would want Josh to be your stalker, is all I'm saying. Story's 10 out of 10, characters 10 out of 10, the voice acting is 10 out of 10. As far as spicy scenes go, top tier, but the knife scene, wild. The knife scene is wild. I listened to it. Jamise listened to it. My other friend, he listened to it. Everyone said the same thing. Wild. Jaw dropped. It was wild. So if y'all listen to that, if y'all know what I'm talking about, y'all know what I'm talking about. It's wild. Lights Out was so good that actually when the second book of this dark romance series that the author is making, I immediately started listening to it as soon as it came out. I think I saw that it came out like the next day on Spotify and I listened to it right then and there. I've only listened to I think like 1.5 chapters, and they don't have anything to do with each other. I think it's gonna be based off like a similar like stalker situation and stuff. By the time I have my part 3 of my audiobook reviews, I'll let y'all know what I thought of it in that one. So the next book I will be talking about, it is also the last book I will be talking about. It is called Quicksilver. I would put Quicksilver on the level of like Fourth Wing on how detailed, how many backstories there are, how dramatic and how thought out this book is. So this book is a like legit series. Fourth Wing, Iron Flame, Onyx Storm, all of that. With that whole series, I'm pretty sure that there is going to be a TV show or a movie. And I'm not gonna lie, I would love to see like Quicksilver and so on and so forth become a series, like an actual TV show or a movie as well. Like that's how good it was. I would put it on the same level as Iron Flame. There's like a bunch of characters. I'm pretty sure though in the audiobook, I think it's only just 2 voice actors, a guy and a girl, and if that's true, they're very, very talented because they portray each character so well. They're so different with the personalities, and then they sound so different too. The guy who voice acts the main character in Quicksilver, Kingfisher, he also, I'm pretty sure if he's the only one that's voice acting, there's this other character in there. He's like it's not Russian, it's like Irish. If that's the same voice actor, he needs a raise. He does really, really well. Voice acting is a 10 out of 10. Quicksilver is the last book that I listened to, so it's fresh on my mind. It's a dark fantasy, yes, but it's like full fantasy. You have the good guys and the bad guys. Bad guys are like vampires and also some fae, but the good guys working together to defeat the bad guys and save their realm / kingdom. That's kind of like the premise of it all. Ceres Fane is one of the main characters. She is human with alchemist abilities, had a near-death experience, and a portal opened up. And Kingfisher actually went through that portal, saw Cerys on the ground about to die. She's brought to this magical realm slash land. There are reasons why he brought her over, help him defeat this war basically, to help his people, but I won't go into detail on how he knew and why it was her and why she was specifically chosen. I'll let y'all figure that out. It's a lot. Okay, it's a lot, but trust me, it's so good. Kingfisher brought Cerys over to create these magic relics to help his people pass through Quicksilver and not be affected and not be harmed. Everyone, there's so many different lands and realms that are trapped. Back in the day, people could move through these realms easily because of these portals, but this Quicksilver kind of infected these portals, and now people can't move through them. If they do move through them, they can be very like badly wounded. I can't remember, but I think Kingfisher, either he went through a portal, he got stuck in a portal, or he made a deal with the Quicksilver, because the Quicksilver has a mind of its own. It talks, it speaks. Kingfisher actually got infected with the Quicksilver, like spirals in his eyes and everything. It gets bad for him. But while Cerys is there, kind of sort of in the beginning forced to make these relics, Kingfisher was kind of a douche to her in the beginning. He still is a douche throughout the book, but Cerys ends up making connections with the people there. She starts to understand more and more on how important it is for her to create these relics. And because she makes connections and starts to care for people, she ends up wanting to protect people, and she ends up wanting to make these relics, and she really beats herself up about it too. And then, of course, Cerys ends up falling for Kingfisher, starts to understand and peel away, you know, the layers of Kingfisher, and starts to understand why he is the way he is, why he acts the way he acts. And of course, Kingfisher grows to love Cerys. He would call her his little Osha. And basically a little Osha, it's a butterfly. The lifespan of this little Osha is very quick. He would say that a lot. Humans are so fragile. If anything were to happen and she got hurt, Kingfisher would like freak out, you know, he would freak out, and he would always call her little Osha because an Osha, the butterfly, was so fragile. But later on, you find out a deeper reason on why he called her that. In the beginning, you would think that it's mainly a jab. Kingfisher is trying to be rude so she doesn't fall for him. And then the side characters that come in, like, you really love them too. And I swear, in this second book, if something happens to any of these side characters, one of them I wouldn't care about. This one woman, she gets her hand chopped off. But anyway, if you know who I'm talking about, she can go on somewhere. When something detrimental happened in Fourth Wing, that series, someone died in that series, and I cried. I cried in Quicksilver too. I'm not even gonna lie. But yeah, Quicksilver. It's a easy read, really easy to get hooked into. The way they ended it was really cool too. Nobody died. Nobody that we cared about died. Just throwing that out there. So I don't know. I'm really excited to see what's gonna happen in the next one. Overall, 10 out of 10. But yeah, that's all I have right now. I'm currently listening to Caught Up. It's the second book in the series of Lights Out. Said that a million times already, I'm sorry. I just got to give it some more, because I started listening to that book probably like a week ago, and I'm only a couple chapters in, so I don't really have an opinion right now. It's just different. And Onyx Storm, the third book in the Iron Flame series, that is also on my list, and that audiobook is also out. I think it came out in May, so I need to listen to that too. There are a lot of really good books that I have lined up, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see y'all on the flip side.